Welcome, everybody. I am Coach Les, and I'm here with Mr. Yarwood from Yarwood's Martial Arts, and we are on YMA Mat Chat, I believe, number 22. Yes, 22.
22.
And tonight, we're going to be talking about belief, which plays a significant role in martial arts, influencing both the mindset and practice of practitioners. While martial arts are often viewed as physical disciplines, many systems are deeply intertwined with philosophy, culture, and spiritual traditions where belief becomes essential for growth, learning, and development. And we're going to talk about a few of the various ways belief plays a role in martial arts tonight. And with that, we're going to get started with Mr. Yarwood.
So like I always say, we do life skills in our school. It's kind of the foundation of everything that's important to us. We want to make sure our kids are well-rounded and have a good foundation underneath them when they go out into the real world. So we teach 9 different life skills, but we also kind of touch on other aspects of things too that aren't necessarily one of our 9, but they're still important, and belief is one of those. For us, belief is a huge part of being able to build confidence in yourself, being able to take the time to be able to learn something new. If you don't believe in yourself, you typically have negative self-talk, and you tell yourself things like, I can't do that, it's too hard, I have other things to do, and this is not important to me just because it's a challenge. There's all kinds of issues that come with that. So we try and instill belief in our kids. When we say belief to them, we want them to say, yes, I can, right? So it's an empowering, positive statement that works in the brain. Because if they're telling themselves positive things, if they're telling themselves that they believe in themselves, that they can do something, they have that power, right? Even if they fail at something, they continue to grow and learn and get something out of it versus quitting and saying, I don't believe in myself, so I can't do that. It's a huge part of what we do is getting them to actually believe that they can do something, because some of the things that we do can be pretty challenging. And if they don't have that belief in what they're doing, they're going to struggle, or they're going to fail and ultimately quit. And we don't want them to do that. So teaching belief is an essential thing for us, and it helps to build themselves up, build their self-esteem. When they go out in the world, they stand taller, they feel better about themselves, they talk better about themselves, they talk more positively to other people because they're confident in who they are, and their belief in their belief system is strong. So it's important that they learn how to believe in themselves, and that others believe in them as well.
You know, Mr. Yarwood, one of the things that I know about it is, you know, as a business coach, self-talk is one of my biggest points that I always point out. And it's people go, well, I'll try. And that TRY word, you know, Yoda, for some of you that know Yoda from Star Wars, there is no try. There is either do or not do. And there's a lot of truth to that. The truth to that is, if you believe that you can do it, the access to doing it starts to show up. And how that works is you make an attempt, it doesn't work, well, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. What then rises up is what it is. And you can't speed that process up. You can't lower that process. You can't force that process. That process for each individual comes very uniquely from that area that what we don't know. It's where in what we call a blind spot, and that's where breakthroughs occur. And in that space, miracles happen. You know, people say, well, oh man, there's no way I can break that board. I've been trying, Mr. Yarwood. I've been trying. Like, that's 3 strikes. There's no way I can.
Yep.
Basically, you just said I can't. And then,
Yep.
I've tried and tried. It's like, well, no, the mindset isn't there. And the really cool thing about it, from my aspect as the integrity coach, I look at it is, where's your integrity? Most of the time, when we're not able to do some of these challenges, our integrity is out. Our belief in ourself, our belief in our practice, our belief in our instructor having managed our training in such a fashion that when we actually test at testing time, that we can actually pass the test. And even, I'm 61 years old. Last year I was 60, and I, literally stepped up and tripped all over myself, not believing I could test and that I couldn't do it. And I wasn't ready. And even for me, in that belief structure, I had a breakthrough, knowing that what was missing for me was my trust in my instructor at that moment, my trust in my quote unquote coach. And I realized I was being uncoachable, and trusting that my coach knew I was ready. So there's that belief, again, belief in your coach. So this is an exciting conversation, exciting topic, and I'm going to pass it back to you.
Yeah. I think belief in yourself. There's a fear aspect to it because you're afraid of what it is, what it's going to take to get what you want, what the work is going to be part of. You're fearful of what other people might think of your decisions, of what it is that you're going to do. There's a weird fear of success. People are scared to succeed because they're comfortable where they are, and that fear of success puts them in a different light with themselves and with other people. And having a belief in yourself sometimes can almost be like a detriment. So teaching them to understand that overcoming the fear, believing in yourself, that's what's going to move you forward. Because that removing that barrier is a huge part of figuring out what it is that you are going to be, who you're going to be, what you're going to do, and knowing that you might not know what's on the other side. You don't know. You have to have faith. You have to believe. You have to say, "Hey, I'm just going to do it and see what happens." Because if you don't even put the effort in the first place, it's a guarantee you're going to fail. So, having the belief system in place, regardless of what you have in front of you, is going to help you get through all those barriers and help you to succeed far beyond what you think you can succeed, because you limit yourself in what you think you can truly do, and not believing in yourself just hinders all of that and puts you in a bad place.
And when you bring that into relationships at home, relationships with schoolwork, with teachers, with friends, with friendships, not thinking you're good enough for the person you're in a relationship with, not having enough of that self-love, that's all part of this belief structure. And it really is an opportunity at martial arts to start to see that. And I think when you are able to see it in a physical way, it helps to develop it. And watching kids surprise themselves, right? It's like,
Yep.
oh my gosh, I broke the board.
Yep.
It's like, well, yeah, you did exactly what you were told to do.
Yeah.
And then when they break it, their belief in themselves goes, rup, 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 rup.
Yep. Yeah, it's fun to see that look that they get on their face when they succeed at something that they didn't think that they could do. They start to realize that maybe they are more capable than they allow themselves to believe that they are. Right? They, instead of hindering themselves, they go, "What else can I do? If I can do that, and I didn't think I could, what things am I missing out on that I could be doing just because I don't believe that I can?" And we can shift that mindset to change it to the positive outlook on attempting new things, stepping into the fray and trying something that you thought before was impossible, and suddenly it's easy. And you go, "Well, wait a minute, that wasn't that bad." Then you start looking around and go, "Hey, what about that? I want to try that now. I'm going to go do that. Can I break the next color board?"
Yeah, and I think that breaking the next color board is the same. It's from a job perspective. Could I could I know this area well enough that I could start my own company? Right? I had a call today from a gentleman that actually called me back in April, because when I sent him a text message, the text message from April suddenly popped up. I'm like, "Oh, we've already talked." and and what he realized was, I can level up the game in this business arena. And my boss and the owner of my company doesn't want to do it. For whatever reason, they've chosen to say no to me as an employee asking to do it. And they've now told me they're going to stay on their railroad tracks. Nothing right or wrong about that. It's their path. And he's finally, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. 8 months later, he's like, "Okay, I'm ready to step up to the edge of this nest, and I believe I can fly on my own without them." And that belief now is, had him pick up the phone, call me, understand, create, and and now we're going to take it to the next level for him. And I think that's the same thing that I see on the floor when, in for instance, in NXT, as a training for an instructor, watching, how old's Luke?
9.
9 years old, get up in the front and lead a class of adults.
Yep.
And 9 months ago, he would have been twitching, nope, nervous, can't do it, won't do it.
Yep. Yeah, his mindset changed.
Yep.
And sometimes getting people to believe in themselves takes action on somebody else's part. That little flick, that little push, that little nudge, just to get them past the little barrier that's in their way, get them to step out and do it, can change it for them. And the feeling that somebody else believes in you, somebody you look up to, somebody who's your mentor, your guide, your coach, your father, whoever it is, somebody who believes in you, even though you don't believe in yourself yet, they get you to do something that you didn't think you could do. They give you that little nudge. Suddenly you're like, "Oh, wow." Right? And then they start to understand what it is that person has been trying to tell them. Because it just telling them you can do it, isn't always going to work. Making them do it, or at least making them take that first step, causing them to have a breakthrough because you just kind of bump them into it, can change their trajectory. And that's kind of what we do with the NXT program, is that we put people in a position that's very uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable. And let them fail, because that's how they're going to learn. When we put somebody in front of a group of students to teach them, I don't look for perfection. I'm not even close to that. I can't expect that from anybody else. But I know that once they get out there and do it a few times, because I told them I believed in them, even though they didn't believe in themselves, they start to feel it. They start to go, oh, I can do this. This isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. It's still hard. It's still challenging, but it's not that. I always say, but did you die? Right? If it didn't kill you, then you're good. You should be ready to rock and roll. So it's having somebody in the background helping you out sometimes is a huge advantage for you to start that belief in who you are.
Yeah, to me, one of the things that a coach is standing for you when you're not able to stand for yourself. Having a belief in you that's greater than and stronger than the belief in yourself. And then entrusting that, seeing the success that comes with that gives you access to the belief in yourself. I share with people many times that if I'm not able to make a breakthrough with you in your business, and I'm not able to in your faith, I might be able to in your family, because the defense mechanisms are different in each area. And then I can take that breakthrough and that new view, new belief, and map it over onto your faith area or your business area. And that, to me, is the power that elevates that transformation to the next level.
Yeah, it's a powerful thing to turn that belief switch on. It's a challenge for sure, because some people are a little bit more stubborn than others, don't want to listen or whatever, right? They keep saying, nope, 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 you're wrong, I can't do it, you're wrong, I can't do it, you're wrong, I can't do it. And they keep telling themselves over and over and over again, right? And the person that they look up to, that they want to emulate, is telling them they can, and they still are no, 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 right? They're just, it's a struggle. And I think what tends to happen is they run away, they quit, they go somewhere else out where they're comfortable, right? Because that uncomfortability in doing something challenging that they are not sure about, it can be very powerful. And I think too, as an instructor, as a coach, as a mentor, you have to earn their belief in you, that you can help them. If you're not living up to the standards that they expect, whether they realize it or not, right? If they don't believe in you, then it's going to be hard for you to get them to believe in themselves. So you have to be aware of your effect on the people that you're mentoring, the people that you're coaching. How are they responding to you? Are you doing things that actually are effective for them, or are you just trying? You know what I mean? So
100%.
it's important that you understand your effect on people's belief systems based on how they respond to your training, to your coaching, to your mentoring.
And I think it's also a place where teachers don't realize the power they have over students anymore. Yes, the students may be on their phones, may be doing all this new stuff, right? Pinging all over the place. what is also there, though, is an innate ability to listen, follow, and learn from an extraordinary teacher. Even when it looks grim, one has to stand their ground, stand in knowing that X plus Y plus Z is going to equal blank, and stand in the face of whatever comes at to change X, Y, or Z. And it's a lot easier for me to sit here and say it than it is always to do it, or at another level, be it.
Yep. I had a conversation today with a guy. We were talking about our kids and the pride a parent has when their grown child comes to them, seeks their advice, seeks their mentorship, seeks their parenting, knowing that the first however many years of life they were listening to you. They're doing the things that that even though they don't realize it, the things that their parents taught them. That they may manifest themselves a little bit differently, but ultimately they're learning. And when they can come to you and say, "Hey, remember when you taught me this? Man, that made such a huge difference in my life. Now that I look back on it, where I am today." Right? At the time, they may not have realized it. Maybe it was something that was a punishment. Maybe it was a correction. It was, who knows what it was, right? But it had such a huge effect on them and who they are and who they were getting ready to become. It changed how they believed in themselves, right? It changed their trajectory. And it could have been just some minor little thing that the parent doesn't even remember, right? Because their job is to guide their children into adulthood so they become productive citizens and go out and do great things for the world. And little things along the way, they start to add up. And it was fun to talk to him because he said his 24-year-old son is learning trades. He's trying to figure things out. And he came to him and asked dad for advice, asked dad to help him learn how to do whatever it was, right? And it had been 3 years since the kid had, really kind of stepped out on his own and was kind of trying stuff. And he finally came to his dad and said, "Hey, Dad, I really appreciate when you did this for me. Can you help me?" Right? He knew that his dad believed in him and understood that belief is what is helping him to get where he is going. And it was cool to talk to him about that.
And I think that's part of the growth, right, of a human being, and the belief in the community around you, i.e., parents, friends, family. If those communities can empower an individual to the degree which you do on this floor, that's where the magic will happen in their life.
Yeah, and I take my job very seriously. I take my role in my students' lives very seriously because I know the impact that I can have, because I know the impact that people have had on me in those positions. And the trajectory of my life changed dramatically based on people like that in my life. They believed in me. They believed that I could be something I didn't even know was inside of me, but they saw something, right? And at first you're like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not me. And they're like, no, you don't see it. I do. I'm on the outside looking in. I can see it, right? You live with yourself all the time. You don't realize some of the things that you're capable of because you're always with you, but somebody else sees you, right? And they see something in you that you don't recognize, and they tap into that, and it starts to become like, oh, wow. And then you go down the line and you look back on it, you go, man, that was the turning point that made me who I am now, based on somebody having a little bit of faith, a little bit of belief in me and what I could do and what I was capable of. So for me, I look at it as my role is to pass that on, pass that belief on to my other students and tell them, hey, this is what I see. This is what I feel about you. Here's the things that I know you can do. But you don't yet, but you will, as long as you are listening, paying attention, and start believing that you can.
Yeah, I think, so many people, I was talking to somebody the other day about the belief that, can you change your chi, your life energy? Can you tap into that? Is acupuncture real? Right? Because it's not documented in a Western book anywhere that you can touch, see, and feel it. Right? It's an energy that's not seen. To me, some of that, it's like, okay, well, I can't see an X-ray working either, right? Until the finished product happens, and then go, oh, this is you. Right? So to me, it's like, well, what's the difference? If we can stand in the gap of belief in something, that then we can stand in the gap of someday I am going to be responsible for myself on my own without my parents, living, and creating a job and creating a world. That respect for others and personal accountability. This last one here, belief in personal responsibility and growth. Martial arts teach the belief that each individual is responsible for their own growth and development. Hello. In today's world, so many people are falling on, well, it's the government's job to look after me. No. That may be what seems to be happening as our government continues to grow. I want people to wake up and smell the roses and see that our responsibility to grow comes from within, not from without.
There's a phrase that I've heard. It's Andy Frisella,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he is an entrepreneur. He has First Form supplement company. He's got a lot of influence. He's been doing entrepreneurship for decades. But he says personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion, because you fight against everything they want you to do. So if they want you to be eating bad foods and being unhealthy and unfit, then you start eating good foods and working out. They want you to be dependent upon the government. You learn how to sustain yourself. They want you to be unhealthy and take all their drugs. Then you go out and work out and get healthy. So the personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion. So you fight against everything they're trying to do for you. You start to believe in the fact that you can be your own person. You're responsible for you. And once you're responsible for you and somebody else is responsible for themselves, it changes everything. When you hold yourself personally accountable to things and everybody starts doing that, the world becomes a better place, because now we're paying attention to little things. Like you see a piece of trash on the ground, you pick it up and throw it away. You see a cart not in the cart rack, you bring it over there, go a few extra steps, right? Hold the door open for somebody. Whatever it is, it's those little things that make a huge difference. And if everybody starts doing them, the world changes for the better. But the problem is people don't have that personal responsibility. They blame their woes and their problems on other people or other entities or something else, or they give over their power over themselves to somebody else because they're lazy and don't want to do it. When you do that, then you lose that personal responsibility, then everything else goes away. So having the belief in yourself that you can do it and that you will do it, that changes the world.
Yes, sir. Well, I think this is a good place for us to pause till next week. And, I like this conclusion here. So I'm going to finish with that. And if there's anything you want to add to it afterwards, belief in martial arts is not only about the techniques or strategies, it is deeply rooted in mental, philosophical, and spiritual aspects. Whether it's believing in oneself, the martial system, the teacher, or in higher principles like energy flow or balance, belief is a powerful driver for success, personal development, and achieving mastery. It gives practitioners a framework for growth, helps them overcome challenges, and provides a foundation for living with honor and integrity.
Deep, deep stuff.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you.
Believe is yes, I can.
As we do these personal life skills, and we hold them true for a month, it definitely supports part of that causing the body to memorize, causing the monkey brain, the subconscious, to hear it, see it, believe it, hear it, see it, believe it, hear it, see it, believe it, hear it, see it, believe it. So thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
All right. And with that, we are going to do the fun exit.
See you on the mats.
We'll see you on the mats, everybody. Here we go.